Warning. The video you are about to watch may contain scenarios and language of an adult nature and therefore should not be viewed by anybody under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, what is up, guys? This is Couch Potato Mike, back in the book club for chapter 38 of Freed. I'm going to be honest with you. It's part 1 of chapter 38 of Freed. Actually, that's not true. It's part 1 of chapter 39 of Freed. Chapter 38's already aired. It's been a confusing days, guys. So yeah, part 1. It's a long chapter. Don't look at me like that. It's going to be chapter 39, the first half of it, Freed by E.L.James. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the ride. I know it's coming close to an end, but all good things must come to an end. And then they ramp back up again, because after this I'm going to be reading Gray. But stay tuned for the epilogue episode of this, because at the epilogue, that's when the contest is over, and I pick the winner of the giveaway prize of either an autographed copy of this or one of these two wonderful Funko Pops. And there's still time to enter into the contest. The way you enter the contest is by going to chapter 36 of this, subscribing, giving that video a thumbs up, comment on it, and tell me which of the prizes you'd like to see. You actually can see them all now. I mean, which one you'd want to see in person. Alright, but remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up and ring the bell and all that good stuff. Alright, let's just go ahead and jump right into chapter 39 of Freed by E.L.James, which takes place on Saturday, September the 17th of 2011. Anna is out cold. I can't wake her. Wake up, Anna. Wake up. Elena struts over to sit down beside me. She's naked but for long, tight leather gloves that stop just above her elbows, and her black stilettos with red soles. She takes my hand. No. Her fingers clasp my thigh. No, don't touch me. No more. Only Anna. Her eyes blaze in anger, but the fire in them dies, defeated. She stands, clothed now in black. Goodbye, Christian. She flips her hair to the side and stalks to the door without looking back at me. I turn. Anna is awake, smiling at me. Join me. Sleep with me. Stay with me. My heart soars. Her words bring me joy. She caresses my cheek. Stay with me, please, she begs. How can I resist? She loves me. She does. And I love her. When I wake, it takes me a moment to remember that I'm in Anna's hospital bed. She slumbers at my side, facing me, her head on the pillow, eyes closed, lips parted, her cheek pale except for the faint purple blemish from Hyde's cruel blow. The sight of it twists my guts in anger. Don't dwell, Gray. She's here. She's safe. I blink the sleep from my eyes, feeling rested but grimy. I'm in dire need of a shower, a shave, and clean clothes. My watch says 6:20 a.m. I have time. Now that Anna's back in the world of the living, I don't mind leaving her for a little while. With any luck, she'll continue to sleep until I return. Carefully, so as not to wake her, I slide out of bed and slip on my shoes. I brush my lips to her forehead in the semblance of a kiss, then grab my phone, charger, and jacket and tiptoe out of the room as if I'm fleeing a crime scene. I'm doing the walk of shame. The thought amuses me. We're married, for fuck's sake. Fortunately, Nora and her colleagues are not at the nurse's station, so my escape is unnoticed. It's my lucky day. There's a cab waiting at the entrance of the hospital, and no photographers. And because it's early, I make good time to Escala. By the time the elevator doors open to the penthouse, my mood is buoyant. Taylor is in the foyer on his way out. He steps back, mouth open, surprised to see me, but he recovers quickly. Mr. Gray, welcome back. Good morning, Taylor. I would have picked you up. I was bringing you a change of clothes per Mrs. Gray's instructions and the Seattle Times. He brandishes a leather duffel. It's fine. I need a shower. We'll head back when I'm done. Yes, sir. I'll ask Sawyer to join us. We'll pick up some breakfast for her on the way. He nods. The steaming water cascades over me, washing away my sins. Damn, after all that I've done, I wish it were that simple. And to cap it off, Anna wants to know everything about my discussion with Elena. What the hell am I going to tell her? The truth, Gray. She's not going to like it, but I owe her that, especially considering my recent awful behavior. My effervescent humor fizzles and dies. While I shave, I contemplate the asshole who stares back at me in the mirror. You owe her more than that. After all that Anna's done for you, she saved your sister. She saved you. I close my eyes. It's true, this woman has disarmed me at every turn. She's broken through all my barriers, cracked me wide open, and shined her light inside. She doesn't take any of my shit. She's driven out my darkness like the warrior she is and offered me hope because she loves me. I know it. And she's carrying my child. Fuck. A child. The gray-eyed asshole stares back at me, bewildered. She's done all this for the simple reason that she loves me and because she's a decent human. And how do I treat her? Badly doesn't cover it, Gray. Her words haunt me. I do choose this defenseless baby over you. That's what any loving parent does. That's what your mother should have done for you, and I'm sorry that she didn't, because we wouldn't be having this conversation right now if she had. But you're an adult now. You need to grow up and smell the fucking coffee and stop behaving like a petulant adolescent. And I thought she was leaving me. I wiped my face. Make this right, Gray. On the way to the hospital, we stop and Taylor hurries into the cafe that he phoned for takeout. He returns with what looks like a breakfast feast for Anna. I hope she's hungry. Sawyer pulls up at the entrance to the hospital, but when I climb out of the car, I'm ambushed by a couple of photographers who start snapping away. How's your wife, Mr. Gray? Mr. Gray, will you be pressing charges? I ignore the assholes and dart inside the lobby. Taylor follows, carrying Anna's breakfast. We head to the nurse's kitchen on Anna's ward where we lay out her breakfast on a tray. Damn, why didn't I bring a small vase? I could steal a flower from one of the many bouquets she's received. It would go some way toward an apology. Sir, says Taylor, as I lift the loaded tray. Before she left, Gail made Mrs. Gray's favorite chicken stew. If I need to bring that in later for lunch, sir. Good to know. I'm hoping I can take her home this morning. Taylor nods his affirmation and pushes open the door to Anna's room to let me in, and I'm hoping for a warm welcome. She's gone. Shit. Anna! I shout as my heart catapults in overdrive. I'm in the bathroom! Oh, thank God. Taylor bursts through the door as alarmed as I was. We're good, I reassure him, and he steps out again, presumably to sit in the corridor. I place the food on Anna's rolling tray and wait, again, for Mrs. Gray. Patiently this time. A moment later, she appears and rewards me with a broad grin. I'm relieved to see her up and about. Good morning, Mrs. Gray. I have your breakfast. She climbs into bed while I pull the tray on wheels over toward her and lift the cover. One wide-eyed, grateful glance from Anna is all the confirmation I need as she gulps down the orange juice and starts on the oatmeal. I sit on the edge of her bed, taking vicarious pleasure in her enjoyment as she eats. Not only is she ravenous, but there's some color in her cheeks. She's on the mend. What? She asks with her mouth full. I like to watch you eat. How are you feeling? Better. I've never seen you eat like this. She looks up, her expression serious. It's because I'm pregnant, Christian. I snort. If I knew getting you knocked up was going to make you eat, I might have done it earlier. My smart-ass remark is an effort to distract her from the serious conversation that I'm not ready to have. I don't know how I feel about this yet. Christian Gray, she drops the spoon in her oatmeal. Don't stop eating. Christian, we need to talk about this. What's there to say? We're going to be parents. I shrug, hoping she'll change the subject. Anna is not impressed. She pushes the tray aside, crawls down the bed, and takes my hands in hers. I sit staring at her, paralyzed. You're scared. I get it, she says gently, pinning me with deep blue eyes. I am too. That's normal. I'm aware that I'm holding my breath. How can I love a child? I've only just learned to love you. What kind of father could I possibly be? I whisper, forcing the words through my tightening throat. Oh, Christian. My name's almost a sob and it twists my heart. One that tries his best. That's all any of us can do. Anna, I don't know if I can. Of course you can. You're loving, you're fun, you're strong, you set boundaries. Our child will want for nothing. Her eyes widen, imploring me. Anna, it's just so soon. Is there room in my heart for someone else? Is there room in your heart for both of us? She continues. Yes, it would have been ideal to have waited, to have longer, just the two of us. But we'll be three of us, and we'll all grow up together. We'll be a family, our own family, and your child will love you unconditionally like I do. Tears pool in her eyes and her slowly trickle down her cheeks. Oh, Anna. I gasp while keeping my own tears lodged in my throat. I thought I'd lost you. Then I thought I'd lost you again. Seeing you lying on the ground, pale and cold and unconscious, it was all my worst fears realized, and now here you are, brave and strong, giving me hope, loving me, after all that I've done. Yes, I do love you, Christian, desperately. I always will. Reaching up, I take her head in my hands and gently wipe away her tears with my thumbs. I love you too. I draw her lips to mine and kiss her, beyond grateful that she's still here and whole. Grateful that she's mine. I'll try to be a good father. You'll try and you'll succeed. And let's face it, you don't have much of a choice in the matter, because Blip and I are not going anywhere. Blip? Blip. Blip. I had the name Junior in my head. Junior it is then. But I like Blip. I kiss her again, tentatively teasing her lips, and it's a match to dry kindling. My reaction immediate, innate. No, I pull away. Much as I'd like to kiss you all day, your breakfast is getting cold. Anna's eyes shine the color of the summer sky. She's amused, I think. Eat, I insist. She shuffles back into bed and I push the tray in front of her, a barrier between us. She starts on the pancakes with enthusiasm. You know, she says between mouthfuls, Blip might be a girl. Christ. I run a hand through my hair. 2 women, eh? Do you have a preference? Preference? Boy or girl? Healthy will do. Jesus, a girl who looks like Anna? Eat, I snap. I'm eating. Jeez, keep your hair on, Gray. I move off the bed and take a seat in the armchair beside her, cheered that we finally broached the subject of Blip. Blip? Yeah, I like the name. I reach for the newspaper. Shit, Anna's on the front page. You made the papers again, Mrs. Gray. Inside, I'm seething. Why can't they leave us alone? Fucking press. Again? The hacks are just rehashing yesterday's story, but it seems factually accurate. You want to read it? She shakes her head. Read it to me. I'm eating. Anything to keep you eating, wife. I read the article out loud as Anna tucks into her breakfast. She doesn't comment on what's been written, but asks me to read more. I like listening to you. Her words warm my soul. She finishes her breakfast, sits back, and listens as I continue, but we're interrupted by a knock on the door. My spirits sink when Detective Clark shambles in. Mr. Gray, Mrs. Gray, am I interrupting? Yes, I snap. He's the last person I want to see. Clark ignores me, which sets my teeth on edge, the arrogant asshole. Glad to see you awake, Mrs. Gray, he says. I need to ask you a few questions about Thursday afternoon. Just routine. Is now a convenient time? Sure, Anna mumbles, but she looks wary. My wife should be resting. I'll be brief, Mr. Gray. And it means I'll be out of your hair sooner rather than later. He has a point. Giving Anna an apologetic look, reluctantly I stand off and offer him my chair, then perch on the other side of her bed and take Anna's hand. I listen quietly as Clark lets my wife tell her side of Hyde's kidnapping and extortion horror story. The words are at odds with her soft, sweet voice. Occasionally, I tighten my grip on her hand as I rein in my anger, and I'm relieved when it's over. Anna's done well to remember so many details. That's great, Mrs. Gray. Clark seems pleased. I wish you'd aimed higher, I mutter. Might have done womankind a service if Mrs. Gray had, he agrees. Anna's puzzled look skims from Clark to me. She doesn't know what we're talking about, but I'm not going to explain that right now. Thank you, Mrs. Gray. That's all for now. Clark shifts in his seat, ready to leave. You won't let him out again, will you? Anna flinches visibly at the thought. I don't think he'll make bail this time, ma'am. Do we know who posted his bail? I ask. No, sir. It was confidential. I'll chase Welch for an update to see if he's found Hyde's benefactor. Clark rises to leave just as Dr. Singh and the two interns enter the room, and I follow the detective out, taking Anna's tray with me. Good day, Mr. Gray, Clark says, saluting me, and then walks on up the corridor. Taylor rises from his chair outside Anna's room and follows me into the nurse's kitchen where I deposit the tray. Sir, I'll take care of that. Thanks. I leave him to wash up and return to Anna's room where I hang back while Dr. Singh completes her examination. You're good. I think you can go home, she says with a pleasant smile to Anna. Thank God. Mrs. Gray, you'll have to watch for worsening headaches and blurry vision. If that occurs, you must return to the hospital immediately. Anna nods, beaming, clearly as grateful as I am that she's been discharged. Dr. Singh, can I have a word? Of course. We step into the corridor, and I'm relieved that Taylor is still away from his station on the chair outside. My wife, yes, Mr. Gray? Her injuries, will they stop us? Dr. Singh frowns. Sexual act. She interrupts me, finally understanding my gist. Yes, Mr. Gray, that's fine. She smiles and adds in a quieter tone. Provided your wife is, willing. I give her a broad smile. What was all that about? Anna asks as I close the door. Sex. I give her a wicked grin. Anna colors. And? You're good to go. Anna can't hide her amusement. I have a headache. Her teasing smirk makes me doubt if she's being entirely truthful. I know, you'll be off limits for a while. I was just checking. She frowns, and if I'm interpreting her look correctly, I'd say she's disappointed. Nurse Nora bustles into the room, and after a haughty glance at me, she removes Anna's IV. Anna thanks her, and Nora exits. I smile as she leaves. I don't begrudge her at all. She's taken good care of my wife. I resolve to make a substantial donation to the hospital staff appreciation fund. Shall I take you home? I turn to Anna. I'd like to see Ray first. Gray, of course. She wants to see her dad. Sure. Does he know about the baby? I thought you'd want to be the one to tell him. I haven't told your mom either. Thank you. My mom knows. She saw your chart. I told my dad, but no one else. Mom said couples normally wait for 12 weeks or so to be sure. I shrug. This is her decision. I'm not sure I'm ready to tell Ray. It's probably a good idea. I should warn you, he's mad as hell. Said I should spank you. Anna's mouth drops open. It's such a gratifying response, I laugh. I told him I'd be only too willing to oblige. You didn't! Anna gapes at me, but her eyes shine with amusement. Will this ever get old? Shocking my wife. I'm glad I still can. I wink at her. Here, Taylor brought you some clean clothes. I'll help you dress. Ray is quietly overjoyed to see his daughter. It shows in his eyes, unmasked for a moment when he sets them on Anna. Fear, relief, love, and anger are all reflected in their dark depths. I beat a hasty retreat, knowing he's going to reprimand Anna as she deserves to be reprimanded. Taylor is waiting outside by her door. Sir, there are still photographers outside the main entrance. Find a back way out and have Sawyer meet us there with a car. Will do. He strides off, and I reach for my phone to call Welch. Mr. Gray, he answers. Welch, any news? Yes. I'm waiting to board my plane. Let me find a quiet corner. There's rustling, and I hear a muffled airline departure announcement, but not to Seattle. Right, he grunts. I've uncovered some information about Hyde. I'll bring that to you. I'd rather you see it in person than have me go through it over the phone. Can't you tell me now? I'd rather not. It's a little public here, and this is not a secure line. What the hell could it be? Also, the police discovered several USB sticks in Hyde's apartment during their fingertip search. Sex tapes, all of them with his old assistants, with Morgan, and some pretty heavy stuff. Fuck. My scalp crawls. My guess is he used the footage to buy their silence and also to blackmail Morgan. Welch's gruff voice drives the point home. I knew about Morgan, but his former assistants? Thank God I stopped Anna from going to New York with them. They'll probably charge him with that too, Welch continues, but they're still building their case. I see. Any word on who posted bail yet? Nothing certain, but I'll get into that when I'm back. What time can I expect you? I'll be there around 5 p.m. See you then. I hang up and wonder what he's found that connects me to Hyde. Anna is subdued as we head down to the rear entrance of the hospital. I think she's been chastened by the reunion with her father, and even though I'm with her dad all the way on this, a very small part of me feels sorry for her. I would not like to be on the receiving end of Raymond Steele's ire. Once in the car, Anna calls her mother. Hi, Mom. Her voice is husky with controlled emotion. Carla, on the other hand, I can hear through the phone as she sobs and wails. Mom! Anna doesn't stand a chance. Her eyes fill and I reach over and take her hand and give her a supportive squeeze, brushing my thumb over her knuckles. But I tune their conversation out as my thoughts turn to Welch and what he might have discovered. I'm irritated that he didn't give me a clue over the phone. Do you even want to know? I stare out of the window and wonder. What's wrong? Anna asks, and I realize she's finished her call with her mom. Welch wants to see me. Welch? Why? He's found something out about that fucker Hyde. My lips form a snarl around his name. I loathe the man with every fiber of my being. Loathe is not a strong enough word. Hate is not strong enough. I detest him and everything he's done. Anna is still looking at me expectantly. He didn't want to tell me on the phone. Oh. He's coming here this afternoon from Detroit. You think he's found a connection? I nod. What do you think it is? I have no idea. It's frustrating, but I shelve the thought, as right now I need to concentrate on my wife. Glad to be home? I ask Anna as we step into the elevator at Escala. Yes. Anna's reply is pin-drop quiet, and I watch as the blood slowly drains from her face. She raises glazed eyes to me and starts to tremble. Hell, it's finally hitting her. She's traumatized. Hey, I gather her into my arms. You're home. You're safe. I kiss her hair, thankful that she smells more like Anna, without the synthetic tang of drugs and disinfectant. Oh, Christian. A sob bubbles up to her lips and she starts to weep. Hush now. I cradle her head against my chest, wanting to chase away the hurt and fear. She must have been holding all this emotion inside. For my benefit? I hope not. I hate to see her cry, but I understand the need right now. Let it all out, baby. I'm here. When the elevator doors slide open, I lift her into my arms and she clings to me, sobbing still, each sound a lesion in my heart. I carry her through the foyer, down the corridor, and into our ensuite, where I deposit her on the white chairs if she's made of glass. Bath? Anna shakes her head, then winces. Shit, her head aches. Shower? She nods, tears still streaming down her face. The sight claws at my soul, and I suck in a breath to contain my wearing emotions. Rage at Hyde and fury at myself for letting this happen. I switch on the shower, and when I turn back, Anna's rocking slowly, keening into her hands. Hey. I kneel at her feet and cover each of her hands in mine, easing them away from her tear-stained cheeks. I cradle her face, and she blinks away her tears as we gaze into each other's eyes. You're safe. You both are, I murmur. Her grief wells in her eyes once more and renders me helpless. Stop now. I can't bear it when you cry. My voice is hoarse. My words are honest yet woefully inadequate against the tide of her anguish. I wipe her cheeks once more with my thumbs, but it's a losing battle. Her tears still flow. I'm sorry, Christian. Just sorry for everything. For making you worry, for risking everything, for the things I said. Hush, baby, please. I kiss her forehead. I'm sorry. It takes two to tango, Hannah. I try a crooked smile to cheer her. Well, that's what my mom always says. I said things and did things I'm not proud of. My words come back to haunt me. This is why I like control. So shit like this doesn't come along and fuck everything up. Shame burns like a pyre in my chest. Gray, this is not helping. Let's get you undressed. Anna wipes her nose with the back of her hand, and the raw gesture endears me to her even more. I kiss her forehead because I need her to know that I love her no matter what she does. Taking her hand, I support her as she staggers to her feet and quickly undress her. Taking particular care as I tug her t-shirt over her head, I guide her to the shower and open the door where we pause as I strip out of my clothing. When I'm naked, I take her hand again and we both step in. Beneath the waterfall of steaming water, I hold her hard and tight against me. I never want to let her go. She continues to cry, her tears washed away by the cascade flowing over us. I rock her gently from side to side, the rhythm soothing me, and I hope Anna. I'm rocking my child, too, inside her. Whoa, that's a strange thought. I kiss her hair, so grateful that she's back home with me. When I'd feared, shit, don't go there, Gray. All of a sudden I hear a loud sniff and Anna steps out of my arms, but she seems to have stopped crying. Better? She nods, her eyes clear. Good. Let me look at you. Her brow furrows, and I hope she won't stop me as I need to see for myself what that asshole prick has done to my wife. Taking her hand, I turn it over. My gaze travels from the graze on her wrist to the abrasion at her elbow to the large fist-sized bruise on her shoulder. The sight of these marks infuriates me, igniting the embers of my earlier anger at Hyde. I bend to kiss each scrape and bruise, planting the barest of kisses at each site. Grabbing the washcloth and shower gel from the rack, I soap the cloth, inhaling the sweet fragrance of jasmine. Turn around. Anna does as she's told, and, knowing she's fragile and wounded, I wash her arms, neck, shoulders, and back as tenderly as I'm able. Absorbed in the task, I keep my touch light. She doesn't complain, and the tension in her shoulders eases little by little as I wash them. I turn her so I have a clearer view of the bruise on her hip. My fingers skate over the livid purple mark. She winces. Motherfucker! It doesn't hurt, she says quietly, and I raise my head to meet her brilliant gaze. I don't believe her. I want to kill him. I nearly did. The rage I felt when Hyde was on the ground burns deep inside my soul. I should have kicked him to pulp. To shield Anna from my murderous thoughts, I concentrate on the washcloth and soap it again with shower gel. I bathe her body once more, her sides and her behind, and I kneel at her feet and wash her legs. I pause at the bruise on her knee, lean in and brush my lips against it before moving on to soap her feet. Her fingers tangle in my hair, distracting me from my task. When I look up, her expression is raw and tender, and it twists my heart. Standing, I trace the bruise at her ribs with my fingertips, and the sight stoking my fury once more. But I dampen it down. It's not helping either of us. Hope, baby. I push the words past the anguish in my throat. I'm okay. Her fingers weave into my hair again, and she pulls my head back and kisses me. Soft, sweet. I hold myself back. She's hurt. But her tongue teases me, and the fire flares once more, blazing through my body in a different way. No, I whisper against her lips and pull back. Let's get you clean. Anna regards me through her lashes, the way she does, and her eyes flick down to my growing erection, then back to my eyes. She pouts so prettily, and the mood between us lightens immediately. Grinning like the clown I am, I kiss her quickly. Clean, not dirty. I like dirty. Me too, Mrs. Gray, but not now. Not here. I grab the shampoo and squirt some into my hands. Using only my fingertips, I gently wash her hair, remembering how gentle she was when she last washed mine and how cherished I felt then. After I've rinsed out the suds, I switch off the shower and exit, taking her with me. I cloak her in a warm towel, wrap one around my own waist, and hand her a towel for her hair. Here. She can judge how vigorous to be. She's the only one with a hairline fracture in her skull. My lighter mood takes a nosedive. That asshole. I still don't understand why Elizabeth was involved with Jack. Anna intrudes on my dark thoughts. I do, I offer. She peers at me, and I'm expecting a question, but she seems to lose her train of thought as her eyes study me, all of me. Mrs. Gray. I smirk. Enjoying the view? How do you know that you're enjoying the view? No, she sounds exasperated. About Elizabeth. I sigh. Detective Clark hinted at it. Anna's brows knit together and her gaze goads me, demanding more information. Hyde had videos of all of them, on several USB flash drives. Videos of him fucking her and fucking all his PAs. Her mouth drops open. Exactly. Blackmail material. He likes it rough. So do I. Fuck. Christ. Self-disgust sweeps over me like an avenging angel. Don't, Anna interrupts, and the word like the crack of a whip. Don't what? You aren't anything like him. How did she guess? You're not, Anna's tone is insistent. Oh, but Anna, I am. We're cut from the same cloth. No, you're not. Anna's fervent denial silences me. His dad died in a bar brawl. His mother drank herself into oblivion. He was in and out of foster homes as a kid. In and out of trouble, too, mainly boosting cars. Spent time in juvie. My God, she's remembered everything I told her on the plane to Aspen, and she doesn't stop. She's on a roll. You both have troubled pasts, and you were both born in Detroit. That's it, Christian. She fists her hands and places them on her hips. She's trying to intimidate me, dressed only in a towel. It's not going to work, because I know who I am. But I don't want to rile her. Now is not the time for an argument. It's not good for her or the baby. Anna, your faith in me is touching, especially in light of the last few days. We'll know more when Welch is here. Christian, bending, I plant a swift kiss on her lips to end the discussion. Enough. Her expression is sullen. And don't pout, I add. Come, let me dry your hair. She presses her lips together, but to my relief she drops the subject. I lead her into the bedroom and head into the closet, where I dress quickly, dragging on jeans and a t-shirt, and I grab a pair of her sweatpants and one of my t-shirts for her. While she slips on the clothes, I plug in the hairdryer, sit down on the bed, and gesture for her to join me. Anna perches between my legs, and I start to brush her wet hair. I love combing out her hair. It's so soothing. Soon the only sound in the bedroom is the high-pitched whine of the hairdryer. Anna's shoulders slump as she relaxes against me, and she's quiet for a while. So, did Clark tell you anything else while I was unconscious? Her words drag me from my absorbing task. Not that I recall. I heard a few of your conversations. Did you? I stopped brushing. Yes, my dad, your dad, Detective Clark, your mom, and Kate. Kate was there? Briefly, yes. She's mad at you, too. She jerks around. Stop with the everyone is mad at Anna crap, okay? Her tone is as high-pitched as a hairdryer. Just telling you the truth, I shrug. I'm still a little mad at you myself, Anna. Yes, it was reckless, but you know, your sister was in danger. Yes, she was, I murmur as a bleak, morbid fantasy of what could have happened plays out once more in my head. Disarmed with the simple truth, Anna, you humble me at every turn. I switch off the hairdryer and grasp her chin, gazing into her clear but vibrant eyes. Eyes I could drown in. No, I'm not mad. I'm in awe of my brave, brave woman. She had the courage to save Mia. Thank you. The words are inadequate, but no more recklessness, because next time I will spank the living shit out of you. She sucks in a breath. You wouldn't. Oh, baby. My palm is twitching right now. I would. I can't hold back my smug smile. I have your stepfather's permission. Anna's pupils dilate and her lips part. And it's there between us, that electricity that crackles invisibly. I feel it everywhere, and I know she does too. Anna, no. Suddenly she launches herself at me. Fuck, Anna! I catch her and twist so that we fall together on the bed. Anna in my arms, but her face crumples in pain as she gasps. Behave, I growl as my tone harsher than I intended. Sorry, she caresses my cheek and I take her hand and kiss her palm. Honestly, Anna, you really have no regard for your own safety. I lift the hem of her t-shirt and rest my fingertips on her belly. A thrill of the unknown sharpens all my senses. There is life here inside her. What did she say? Flesh of my flesh? Our child? It's not just you anymore, I whisper and skate my fingers across her taut, warm skin. Anna tenses beneath me, dragging air into her lungs. I know that sound. My eyes move to hers and I lose myself in their fathomless blue depths. It's Anna's desire. I feel it too. Our special alchemy. But it's impossible. She's hurt. Reluctantly, I lift my fingertips from her skin, tug down her t-shirt, and tuck a stray lock of hair behind her ear, because I still need to touch her. But I can't give her what we both want. No. I breathe. Anna's face falls, her expression forlorn. Don't look at me like that. I've seen the bruises, and the answer's no. I kiss her forehead, and she squirms beside me. Christian, she moans, needling me. No. Get into bed. I sit up to remove myself from temptation. Bed? She looks crestfallen. You need rest. I need you. The wine is gone, leaving only a husky come-on in her voice. Closing my eyes, I shake my head at her audacity and my desire. She's hurt. I open my eyes and glare at her. Just do as you're told, Anna. Okay, she mutters with an exaggerated pout that immediately lifts my spirits and makes me want to laugh. I'll bring you some lunch. You're going to cook? She blinks incredulous. I'm going to heat something up. Mrs. Jones has been busy. Christian, I'll do it. I'm fine. Geez, I want sex. I can certainly cook. She struggles to sit up but winces. Damn it, Anna. Bed. I point at the pillow, all carnal thoughts banished. Join me. She makes one last-ditch attempt. I don't know what's gotten into her. Not you recently, Gray. Anna, get into bed, now. I scowl. She answers with a scowl of her own, stands and drops her sweatpants to the floor in a dramatic gesture. In spite of her glower, she looks lovely. I hide my smile, and part of me is beyond pleased that she still wants me. After all that's transpired over the last few days, she loves me. I draw back the duvet. You heard Dr. Singh. She said rest. Still pouting, Anna complies, sliding into bed and folding her arms, conveying her frustration. I want to laugh, but I don't think my mirth would be well received. Stay, I order, and with the memory of her beautiful sour face, I hurry into the kitchen and find the fabled chicken stew Taylor mentioned this morning. It's good to see Anna wolfing down Mrs. Jones' cooking. I sit cross-legged in the middle of the bed, watching her as I devour my lunch. It's delicious and nourishing, too. Perfect for Anna. That was very well heated. She smacks her lips, looking replete and a little drowsy. I beam at her, feeling pleased. I managed not to burn myself this time, so yeah, it was. You look tired. I place my bowl on her tray and standing take both from her. I am, she admits. Good. Sleep. I kiss her quickly. I have some work I need to do. I'll do it in here if that's okay with you. She nods and closes her eyes, and seconds later, she's out. Ross has sent me a preliminary report of her visit to Taiwan. She reassures me that while it's in the right decision for her to go, I'll still need to travel there myself and soon. It's strange reading her quick summary. It's been days since I thought about my business, my company, the shipyard, or even the world at large. I've lost track of time. My attention has been solely concentrated on my wife. I glance over at her. She's still fast asleep. I read through my other emails, and there's a detailed earnings projection for GLMera. An remarkably upbeat email from Hassan at GEH Fiber Optics. Morale there is up since my visit, and business is going well. My trip to see him was worth it. Taylor's gentle tap at the door disturbs my reading. Welch is here, sir. I can barely hear him. He's speaking so softly. I nod and, with another quick check on my sleeping beauty, follow him out to the living room. Welch is standing and admiring the view from the window. He's grasping a large manila envelope. Showtime, Gray. Welch, he turns. Mr. Gray. Shall we head into my study? I listen to Anna's breathing as I watch her, timing each of my breaths to hers. In, out, focusing on her means that I don't have to focus on the photographs Welch has left me. Why didn't Carrick and Grace tell me? I lived with Jackson Hyde. How did I not know this? My thoughts have been racing, searching through all the nooks and crannies of my troubled mind, trying to shine a light into the shadows, but I've found nothing. My foster care experience is hidden in the murky depths of the past. I cannot remember any of it. A chunk of my life gone. No, not gone. Erased. In its place is a dark, gaping hole of nothing but uncertainty. It's deeply unsettling. Surely I should remember something. Anna stirs. Her eyes flicker open and find mine. Thank God. What's wrong? She blanches. She sits up, her face strained by her concern. Welch has just left. And? I lived with the fucker. The words are barely audible. Lived? With Jack? Swallowing down my agitation, I nod. You're related? Anna's shock is palpable. No, good God, no. Frowning, she moves over and tugs back the duvet. It's an invitation to join her. I don't hesitate. I need her to anchor me to the now and to help me make sense of this alarming news and this huge gap in my memory. Right now, I'm untethered from everything. Kicking off my shoes and clutching the photographs, I slip into bed beside her and drape an arm over her upper thighs as I lay my head in her lap. Slowly, she trails her fingers through my hair. The gesture is comforting and it calms my troubled soul. I don't understand, she says. Closing my eyes, I picture Welch and recall the throaty rasp of his voice as he's briefed me. I repeat his words for Anna, editorializing a little. After I was found with the crack whore, before I went to live with Carrick and Grace, I was in the care of the state of Michigan. I lived in a foster home. I pause and take a gulp of air, but I can't remember anything about that time. Anna's hands stop and rests on my forehead. How long? For how long? 2 months or so. I have no recollection. Have you spoken to your mom and dad about it? No. Perhaps you should. Maybe they could fill in the blanks. I tighten my hold on Anna, my life raft. Here, I pass to the photographs. I've been poring over them in the hope that they might stir a dormant memory that's buried deep. The first depicts a scrubby little house with a cheery yellow front door. The second shows an ordinary working-class couple and their 3 scrawny, unremarkable children, plus Jackson Hyde as an 8-year-old, and me. I'm 4 years old. A small scrap of humanity with wild, haunted eyes and a threadbare clothes, clutching a filthy blanket. It's obvious that the 4-year-old is severely malnourished. No wonder I'm always nagging Anna to eat. This is you, Anna gasps and stifles a sob. That's me. My voice is bleak. Right now, I've no words of comfort left for her. I've got nothing. I'm numb. I stare out at the dusk. The sky is streaked in a pale pink and orange that heralds the coming darkness. A darkness that claims me as one of its own. A husk of a man once more, hallowed and empty. I'm missing time, missing a part of myself that I didn't even know existed. And I don't understand why. I'm scared to know why. What happened to me back then? How could I have forgotten it all? I cling to the residual anger that simmers beneath the surface. It's aimed at Carrick and Grace. Why the fuck didn't they tell me? I close my eyes. I don't want the darkness. I've lived in it too long. I want the light that Anna brings. Welch brought you these photos? She asked. Yes, I don't remember any of this. Remember being with foster parents? Why should you? Christian, it was a long time ago. Is this what's worrying you? I remember other things from before and after, when I met my mom and dad, but this, it's like there's a huge chasm. Is Jack in this picture? Yes, he's the older kid. Anna's silent for a moment, and I hug her harder. When Jack called to tell me he had Mia, she murmurs, he said if things had been different, it could have been him. Revulsion shudders through me. That fucker! You think he did all this because the Greys adopted you instead of him? Who knows? I don't give a fuck about him. Perhaps he knew we were seeing each other when I went for that job interview. Perhaps he'd planned to seduce me all along. Anna's dread echoes in her voice. I don't think so. The searches he did on my family didn't start until a week or so after you began your job at SIP. Barney knows the exact dates, and Anna, he fucked all his assistants and taped them. Anna's quiet, and I wonder what she's thinking. About Hyde, about me. I could have ended up like Hyde if I hadn't been adopted. Is she comparing me to him? Fuck. I am like Hyde. A monster. Is that what she sees? That we're the same? What a repulsive thought. Christian, I think you should talk to your mom and dad. She squirms and I release her legs, but she shuffles down into the bed so we're facing each other. Let me call them, she offers in a tender whisper. I shake my head. Please, she pleads. Her expression is as compassionate and sincere as ever, her eyes brimming with love. Perhaps she's not comparing me to Hyde. Should I call my parents? Maybe they can offer the missing pieces of the fragments of my past. They're bound to remember, surely. I'll call them, I murmur. Good. We can go see them together, or you can, whichever you prefer. No, they can come here. Why? I don't want you going anywhere. Christian, I'm up for a car journey. No. I give her a lopsided smile. Anyway, it's Saturday night. They're probably at some function. Call them. This news has obviously upset you. They might be able to shed some light. Anna's words are stirring. As I gaze into her eyes, there's no judgment there. Only her love shining through the cracks into my darkness. Okay, I'll play it her way. I pick up the bedside phone and call my parents home. Anna snuggles up to me while I wait for an answer. Christian, Carrick's voice has never been more welcoming. They're home. Dad, I can't hide my surprise. Great to hear from you, son. How's Anna? Anna's good. We're home. Welch has just left. He found out the connection. Connection? With what? With who? Hyde? The foster home in Detroit. Carrick is silent on the other end of the phone. I don't remember any of that. My voice wavers as my shame and simmering anger surface, a poisonous cocktail. Anna hugs me tighter. Christian, why should you? It was long ago. But your mother and I can fill in the gaps, I'm sure. Yeah? I hate the hope in my voice. We'll come over. Now if you like. You will? I can scarcely believe it. Of course. I'll bring some paperwork from that time with me. We'll be there soon. It'll be good to see Anna, too. Paperwork? Great. I hang up and regard Anna's curious expression. They're on their way. I still can't hide my surprise. I ask my parents for help, and they come running. Good. I should get dressed, Anna says. I tighten my hold on her. Don't go. Okay. She bathes me in a loving smile and snuggles once more into my side. Guess we'll find out what Christian and his parents and all that good stuff talk about on the next episode. I know I hate to string this along, but it's a long chapter. What can I say? Hope you guys are looking forward to the rest of this as much as I am. So that's going to do it for now. I'm Couch Potato Mike. This is the Couch Potato Mike YouTube channel. I just want to remind you guys that in the end, we're all stories. So let's make them good ones. See you next time, guys.